Part 1. The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson continues the story of Waxilium Ladrian and his companions in the rapidly advancing world of Scadrial, following the emotional and philosophical upheaval of Shadows of Self. In the months since the death of Palm, Wax has struggled to find his place in a society that now feels more uncertain than ever. The revelations about Harmony's influence and the existence of other unseen powers have left him deeply unsettled. Though he continues to serve as both a nobleman and a lawman, his sense of purpose has been shaken, and he begins the story in a more withdrawn and introspective state. Elendel itself continues to evolve, with technological progress accelerating at an impressive pace. Innovations such as electricity, improved firearms, and expanding railway systems are transforming daily life and reshaping the balance of power. However, these advancements also bring new challenges, including political tension between Elendel and the outer cities. Many of these outlying regions feel exploited by the capital, believing that their resources are being used to sustain Elendel's growth without fair representation or compensation. This growing resentment threatens to destabilize the broader basin, introducing the possibility of conflict on a much larger scale. Wax's personal life has also reached a turning point. His relationship with Steris Harms has deepened significantly, and the two are preparing for marriage. While their partnership began as a practical arrangement, it has grown into a genuine bond characterized by mutual respect and understanding. Steris continues to demonstrate her value through her careful planning and adaptability, offering Wax a sense of stability amid the uncertainty that surrounds him. Her presence provides a counterbalance to his lingering doubts, helping him navigate both his personal and professional responsibilities. Despite his attempts to focus on his duties, Wax is drawn into a new mystery when reports surface of a powerful artifact known as the Bands of Mourning. According to legend, these metal mines once belonged to the Lord Ruler, a figure from Scadrial's distant past who possessed immense power through a combination of allomancy and feruchemy. The bands are said to grant extraordinary abilities to whoever wields them, effectively making the user nearly unstoppable. Though many consider the bands to be little more than myth, recent discoveries suggest that they may, in fact, be real. The search for the bands is initially sparked by a Khandra named Milan, who brings Wax information about their possible location. Unlike the rogue Palm, Milan remains loyal to Harmony and serves as a guide and ally in the investigation. Her pragmatic and often irreverent personality adds a new dynamic to the group, contrasting with the more serious tone that has characterized Wax since the events of the previous book. Milan's knowledge of Khandra history and her connection to Harmony provide valuable context as the group begins to explore the significance of the bands. Wax is joined once again by Wayne and Marasi Columns, both of whom have continued to grow in their respective roles. Wayne remains as unpredictable and resourceful as ever, using his unique abilities and unconventional thinking to navigate complex situations. Beneath his humor, however, there is a growing sense of maturity as he becomes more aware of the consequences of his actions. Marasi, now firmly established within the constabulary, has developed into a confident and capable investigator. Her analytical skills and determination make her an essential part of the team, and she increasingly takes on a leadership role in their efforts. The discovery that the bands may be located in the distant city of New Siran sets the stage for a journey beyond Elendel. This shift in setting introduces new cultural and political dynamics as the outer cities operate under different conditions and priorities than the capital. New Siran, in particular, is a place of contrasts, where wealth and poverty exist side by side, and where local governance reflects the tensions between independence and central authority. For Wax and his companions, traveling there means stepping into an unfamiliar environment where their usual assumptions may not apply. As they prepare for the journey, the group becomes aware that they are not the only ones searching for the bands. Various factions, including criminal organizations and political interests, are also pursuing the artifact, each with their own motives. The possibility that such a powerful object could fall into the wrong hands raises the stakes considerably. For Wax, the mission is not just about uncovering the truth behind the bands, but also about ensuring that they do not become a tool for oppression or destruction. Underlying this quest is a deeper exploration of Wax's relationship with harmony and his evolving sense of identity. The events of Shadows of Self have left him questioning the nature of divine influence and his role within it. As he considers the implications of the bands, objects tied to a figure who once ruled as a god, Wax is forced to confront the idea of power itself. What does it mean to wield such power responsibly? Can it ever truly be separated from control and manipulation? These questions add a philosophical dimension to the story, shaping Wax's perspective as he embarks on this new adventure. The first part of the Bands of Mourning establishes both the external and internal conflicts that will drive the narrative forward. The search for the bands provides a clear objective, while the political tensions between Elendel and the outer cities add complexity to the stakes. At the same time, Wax's personal journey continues to evolve, as he seeks to reconcile his past experiences with his present responsibilities. Supported by a cast of characters who bring their own strengths and perspectives, Wax sets out on a path that promises not only danger and discovery, but also the possibility of greater understanding. With the stage set and the journey underway, the story begins to expand beyond the familiar boundaries of Elendil, opening the door to new challenges, new allies, and new revelations that will shape the future of Scadrial. Part 2. Wax and his companions set out for New Saran, leaving behind the relative familiarity of Elendil and entering a region marked by political tension and cultural difference. The journey itself reflects the broader transformation of Scadrial, as railways and modern transportation make long-distance travel more accessible while also exposing the disparities between the capital and the outer cities. As they travel, Wax becomes increasingly aware that Elendil's influence, though powerful, is not universally accepted. In many areas, resentment toward the central government simmers just beneath the surface. Upon arriving in New Saran, the group immediately senses the city's uneasy atmosphere. Unlike Elendil, which presents a veneer of order and refinement, New Saran feels more volatile, shaped by competing factions and a less stable political structure. The local governance is fragmented, with various leaders and organizations exerting influence in different areas. This creates an environment where alliances are fluid and trust is difficult to establish. For Wax and his team, navigating this landscape requires a combination of caution, adaptability, and keen observation. Their investigation begins with leads provided by Milan, who guides them toward information about the possible location of the Bands of Mourning. These clues suggest that the bands may be hidden in a remote temple or ancient site connected to the legacy of the Lord Ruler. However, the path to uncovering their exact location is far from straightforward. The group must piece together fragments of historical records, local legends, and coded messages, all while competing against other parties who are also searching for the artifact. Marasi takes a leading role in this phase of the investigation, applying her analytical skills to decipher the clues they uncover. Her ability to synthesize information from multiple sources proves invaluable, allowing the group to make steady progress despite the complexity of the puzzle. Through her efforts, they begin to identify a pattern in the clues that points toward a specific region outside the city. This discovery provides a clearer direction for their search, but it also increases the urgency of their mission, as it becomes evident that others may be closing in on the same location. Wayne, meanwhile, continues to operate on the periphery, gathering information through his usual unconventional methods. His talent for disguise allows him to infiltrate various social circles, from the criminal underworld to local gatherings, where he picks up rumors and insights that might otherwise go unnoticed. Although his approach often appears chaotic, it frequently yields critical information that complements the more structured efforts of Wax and Marasi. At the same time, Wayne's interactions reveal more of his character, hinting at deeper layers beneath his humor and eccentricity. As the group delves deeper into the mystery, they encounter resistance from local forces who have their own interest in the bands. Among these are individuals connected to a shadowy organization with advanced technology and resources, suggesting that the search for the bands is part of a larger and more coordinated effort. These adversaries are not merely opportunistic treasure hunters. They appear to be operating with a clear objective and a willingness to use force to achieve it. This realization heightens the stakes, as Wax and his companions must now contend with a well-equipped and determined opposition. The tension escalates when the group becomes the target of an ambush. During a carefully planned attack, they are confronted by enemies who demonstrate both tactical skill and access to advanced weaponry. The encounter forces Wax, Wayne, and Marasi to rely on their combined abilities to survive, showcasing the strength of their teamwork. Wax's precision with allomancy, Wayne's speed bubbles, and Marasi's quick thinking all play crucial roles in overcoming the immediate threat. However, the attack also serves as a warning that their enemies are aware of their presence and are willing to eliminate them. In the aftermath of the ambush, the group gains important information about their adversaries. It becomes clear that the organization pursuing the bands has access to knowledge and technology that surpass what is commonly available in Ellendale or the outer cities. This raises troubling questions about their origins and intentions. The possibility that they may be connected to the same external forces hinted at in previous events adds another layer of complexity to the situation. As they continue their investigation, Wax finds himself increasingly drawn into questions about the nature of power and legacy. The legend of the Bands of Mourning, tied to the Lord Ruler, represents a form of authority that is both awe-inspiring and deeply troubling. The idea that such power could be rediscovered and potentially wielded by unknown parties forces Wax to consider the broader implications of their quest. His earlier doubts about Harmony's influence resurface as he reflects on the dangers of concentrated power, whether divine or otherwise. Steris, though not directly involved in the action, continues to play a vital role in supporting the group's efforts. Through careful planning and logistical coordination, she helps ensure that they are prepared for the challenges they face. Her attention to detail and ability to anticipate potential risks prove invaluable, particularly in a setting as unpredictable as New Siran. Her contributions highlight the importance of preparation and foresight, even in situations that seem to defy control. By the end of this section, the group has made significant progress in their search for the bands, but the dangers surrounding them have grown considerably. They are now aware that they are competing against a powerful and organized adversary, one that may have access to knowledge and resources far beyond their own. At the same time, the clues they have uncovered bring them closer to their goal, suggesting that the location of the bands is within reach. The journey into the outer cities has expanded the scope of the story, introducing new challenges and deepening the central mystery. As Wax and his companions prepare to venture further from the safety of civilization in pursuit of the bands, the stakes continue to rise. The combination of political tension, hidden forces, and the promise of immense power ensures that the path ahead will be both dangerous and transformative, setting the stage for the revelations and confrontations to come. Part 3. As Wax and his companions follow the trail leading away from New Saran, the nature of their quest becomes increasingly perilous. The clues they have uncovered point toward a remote and ancient location believed to house the Bands of Mourning. This journey takes them beyond the relative safety of urban environments and into the untamed regions of the basin, where the remnants of earlier eras still linger. The shift in setting reinforces the sense that they are not only pursuing a physical object, but also delving into the deeper history of their world. The expedition requires careful coordination, and each member of the group plays a vital role. Wax leads with determination, though his internal conflict continues to shape his decisions. Wayne provides adaptability and ingenuity, often finding creative solutions to unexpected challenges. Marassi's analytical mind helps interpret the clues they encounter along the way, ensuring that they remain on the correct path. Milan contributes her knowledge of ancient traditions and Khandra lore, offering insights that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Together, they form a cohesive unit, each balancing the other's strengths and weaknesses. As they approach the suspected location of the bands, the group encounters evidence that they are not alone. Signs of recent activity suggest that their adversaries are also closing in, heightening the urgency of their mission. These opponents, equipped with advanced technology and a clear objective, continue to pose a significant threat. Their presence reinforces the idea that the search for the bands is part of a larger and more coordinated effort, one that extends beyond simple treasure hunting. The group eventually discovers the entrance to an ancient structure, hidden and protected by layers of secrecy. This site, believed to be connected to the Lord Ruler, is filled with mechanisms and traps designed to test those who seek its secrets. The architecture and technology within the structure reflect a blend of allomantic and ferrochemical principles, showcasing the ingenuity of an earlier age. For Wax and his companions, navigating this environment requires not only physical skill, but also intellectual problem-solving. Inside the structure, they encounter a series of challenges that test their abilities and their understanding of the clues they have gathered. These trials are not merely obstacles, but deliberate puzzles intended to ensure that only those with the necessary knowledge and determination can proceed. Marassi's role becomes particularly important here, as her ability to analyze patterns and deduce solutions allows the group to overcome barriers that would otherwise halt their progress. During this exploration, Wax reflects on the legacy of the Lord Ruler and the nature of the power he wielded. The Bands of Mourning, if they truly exist, represent a concentration of abilities that could rival or even surpass those of any individual in the current era. This realization forces Wax to confront the potential consequences of their discovery. If such power were to fall into the wrong hands, it could be used to dominate or destabilize entire regions. Even in the right hands, the temptation to misuse it would be immense. The tension escalates when their adversaries finally catch up to them within the structure. A confrontation ensues, combining elements of combat and strategy as both sides attempt to gain control of the situation. The confined and complex environment adds an extra layer of difficulty, as the group must navigate not only their enemies, but also the dangers inherent in the structure itself. Wax's skill with allomancy allows him to manipulate the environment to his advantage, while Wayne's speed bubbles create opportunities to outmaneuver their opponents. Despite their efforts, the situation becomes increasingly precarious. The opposing faction demonstrates a level of coordination and preparedness that suggests they have been planning this operation for some time. Their use of advanced technology, including devices that interact with allomantic abilities in novel ways, highlights the growing intersection of magic and science in this era. This combination makes them particularly dangerous, as they are able to counter traditional methods with innovative tactics. Amid the conflict, the group manages to press forward, driven by the knowledge that they are close to their goal. The deeper they venture into the structure, the more evident it becomes that the Bands of Mourning are not merely a legend. The design of the site, along with the challenges they face, all point toward the existence of something of immense significance hidden within. Eventually, they reach a chamber that appears to be the culmination of the trials, a place where the bands are believed to be kept. However, what they find there is not exactly what they expected. Instead of a straightforward discovery, they are confronted with a revelation that challenges their assumptions about the bands and their origin. The artifact, while real, is not as simple as the legend suggests. Its existence raises new questions about the history of Scadrial and the figures who shaped it. This moment of discovery is overshadowed by the continued threat posed by their adversaries, who are now fully engaged in the struggle for control of the site. The conflict intensifies as both sides recognize the importance of what lies before them. For Wax, the situation represents not only a physical battle, but also a moral dilemma. The power of the bands, whatever its true nature, must be protected, but determining how to do so is far from straightforward. By the end of Part 3, the narrative has reached a critical juncture. The journey to find the bands has led to a place of both revelation and danger, where the past and present collide. Wax and his companions are on the brink of uncovering the truth, but the presence of their enemies ensures that the outcome remains uncertain. The stakes have never been higher, and the choices they make in the moments ahead will have far-reaching consequences. As the story moves toward its climax, the tension between knowledge and power, discovery and responsibility, becomes increasingly pronounced. The group stands at the threshold of a moment that will not only define their mission, but also shape the future of their world. Part 4. As Wax and his companions reach the heart of the ancient structure, the truth about the Bands of Mourning begins to emerge with startling clarity. What they discover is not simply a relic of the Lord Ruler, but something far more complex and unexpected. The bands are revealed to be a set of metal mines capable of granting a vast array of allomantic and ferrochemical powers to whoever uses them. However, their origin is called into question. Evidence within the temple suggests that they may not have belonged to the Lord Ruler at all, but instead to the survivor of Hathsin, Kelsier, a figure long thought dead, but whose influence appears to have extended far beyond his supposed demise. This revelation reshapes the entire purpose of their quest. The bands are not merely symbols of past tyranny, but artifacts tied to resistance, survival, and transformation. The idea that Kelsier could have created or used such an object introduces profound implications about the nature of power and legacy in their world. For Wax, who has already struggled with questions about authority and divine influence, this discovery adds yet another layer of complexity. The lines between myth and history blur, forcing him to reconsider what he thought he knew about the past. Before the group can fully process this information, Their adversaries make their final move. The shadowy organization that has pursued them throughout their journey launches a coordinated attack within the chamber. These enemies, revealed to be agents of a technologically advanced southern civilization, are determined to claim the bands for themselves. Their leader, a determined and capable figure, makes it clear that they view the bands as essential to their people's survival and advancement. This perspective introduces a moral dilemma, as their motives are not purely selfish, but rooted in the needs of an entire society. The confrontation that follows is intense and multifaceted. Wax and his allies must defend themselves while also preventing the bands from falling into the hands of those who might use them recklessly. The confined space of the chamber, combined with the presence of ancient mechanisms and unstable structures, creates a chaotic battlefield. Each member of the group is pushed to their limits, relying on their unique abilities and their trust in one another to endure the escalating conflict. Wax plays a central role in the struggle, using his allomantic and ferrochemical powers with precision and creativity. His ability to manipulate metal becomes crucial in navigating both the environment and the attacks of his enemies. At the same time, Wayne's speed bubbles provide critical moments of advantage, allowing them to react faster than their opponents and control key points in the battle. Marasi demonstrates remarkable composure under pressure, coordinating their efforts and making strategic decisions that help keep the group focused. During the conflict, one of the Southern agents manages to briefly access the bands, demonstrating their incredible power. The sheer scale of the abilities granted by the artifact is overwhelming, confirming both its potential and its danger. The moment serves as a stark reminder of what is at stake. If the bands were to be wielded without restraint, they could easily tip the balance of power in devastating ways. Despite the intensity of the battle, Wax begins to recognize that outright victory may not be the only solution. The Southern agents are not simple villains. They are representatives of a culture that has developed in isolation, facing its own challenges and striving to survive in a harsh environment. This realization forces Wax to consider the broader implications of denying them access to the bands. The conflict is no longer just about protecting the artifact, but about determining how its power should be used and by whom. In a pivotal moment, Wax chooses a path that prioritizes balance over domination. Rather than allowing the bands to remain a source of unchecked power, he takes steps to ensure that they cannot be easily exploited. Through a combination of strategy and sacrifice, he prevents any one group from claiming the artifact outright. This decision reflects his growth as a character, demonstrating his commitment to justice and responsibility, even in the face of immense pressure. The resolution of the conflict does not come without cost. The structure itself begins to collapse under the strain of the battle, forcing both sides to retreat. In the chaos, the immediate struggle for the bands is brought to an end, but the questions surrounding them remain unresolved. The Southern agents, though thwarted in their attempt to secure the artifact, leave with valuable knowledge and a continued determination to pursue their goals. In the aftermath, Wax and his companions are left to grapple with the significance of what they have discovered. The existence of the bands and the truth about their origins suggests that the history of their world is far more intricate than they had previously understood. The idea that Kelsier may still be influencing events, even indirectly, introduces a sense of continuity between the past and the present, as well as the possibility of future revelations. This section of the story brings the central conflict to its climax, combining action, revelation, and moral complexity. The battle for the bands highlights the dangers of power, while also emphasizing the importance of perspective and understanding. Wax's choices reflect a commitment to principles that go beyond simple victory, underscoring the novel's exploration of responsibility in a changing world. As the immediate danger subsides, the focus shifts toward the consequences of these events. The discovery of the bands and the encounter with the Southern civilization have opened new avenues of possibility and new sources of conflict. With the world of Scadrial expanding in both scope and complexity, Wax and his allies must now consider what their role will be in shaping its future. Part 5. In the aftermath of the confrontation within the ancient temple, Waxilium Ladrian and his companions return to Elendel, carrying not only the weight of their experiences, but also the knowledge that their world is far larger and more complex than they had previously understood. Although the immediate struggle over the Bands of Mourning has ended, its consequences ripple outward, affecting political relationships, technological development, and the balance of power across the basin and beyond. One of the most significant outcomes of the expedition is the confirmation that the Southern peoples, long thought to have perished or remained primitive, have in fact developed an advanced and distinct civilization. Their use of technology, particularly devices that mimic or enhance allomantic abilities, reveals a parallel path of progress shaped by necessity and innovation. This discovery challenges the assumptions held by Elendel's leadership and underscores the need for a broader perspective on the world. The encounter also opens the possibility of future cooperation or conflict, depending on how these newly revealed societies choose to interact. Wax plays a key role in communicating these findings to the authorities in Elendel. His position as both a nobleman and a lawman gives him a unique voice in shaping the response to these developments. However, he is acutely aware that the information he brings could be used in ways he cannot fully control. The potential for an arms race, driven by the desire to replicate or counter the technologies of the Southern peoples, looms as a serious concern. Once again, Wax is confronted with the challenge of balancing knowledge and responsibility, recognizing that progress often comes with unintended consequences. On a personal level, Wax undergoes a significant transformation as a result of his journey. The discoveries surrounding the bands, particularly their connection to Kelsier, force him to reevaluate his understanding of history, heroism, and power. The realization that figures from the past continue to influence the present reinforces the idea that no era exists in isolation. For Wax, this insight deepens his sense of responsibility, as he comes to see himself as part of an ongoing narrative rather than a solitary actor. His relationship with Harmony also evolves further. While the tensions introduced in previous events remain, Wax begins to adopt a more independent stance. He no longer views Harmony as an unquestionable authority, but as a powerful being whose guidance must be interpreted rather than blindly followed. This shift allows Wax to act with greater confidence in his own judgment, even when it diverges from divine suggestion. The dynamic between them becomes more balanced, reflecting Wax's growth into a figure capable of shaping his own path. Steris Harms continues to be a stabilizing force in Wax's life, and their impending marriage becomes a symbol of continuity amid change. Throughout the events of the story, Steris has proven herself to be adaptable, perceptive, and deeply committed to supporting Wax. Their relationship, once rooted in practicality, now carries genuine emotional weight. Steris's ability to embrace uncertainty, despite her preference for order, mirrors the broader theme of adaptation that runs throughout the novel. Together, she and Wax represent a partnership built on trust and mutual respect, offering a foundation for the challenges that lie ahead. Marasi Columns also emerges from the experience with a clearer sense of purpose. Her contributions to the mission, particularly her leadership and analytical skills, have solidified her role as an important figure within the constabulary. More importantly, she begins to consider her future beyond traditional expectations, contemplating how she can best contribute to a changing society. Marassi's journey reflects the opportunities and challenges faced by a new generation, one that must navigate a world shaped by both tradition and rapid innovation. Wayne, as always, provides continuity and balance within the group. His loyalty to Wax remains unwavering, and his unique perspective continues to offer insights that others might overlook. While he often deflects seriousness with humor, his actions throughout the story demonstrate a deep commitment to doing what is right, even when it is difficult. Wayne's presence reinforces the importance of companionship and trust, particularly in a world where uncertainty is becoming the norm. Perhaps the most intriguing element of the novel's conclusion is the suggestion that Kelsier, the survivor, may still play an active role in the world. The evidence uncovered during the expedition implies that he not only survived in some form, but also influenced events long after his presumed death. This revelation expands the scope of the story significantly, introducing new possibilities and raising questions about what other secrets the past may hold. For Wax and his companions, it serves as a reminder that their understanding of history is incomplete, and that the future may be shaped by forces they have yet to fully comprehend. As Ellendale begins to process the implications of these discoveries, the broader narrative of Scadrial enters a new phase. The intersection of magic and technology continues to drive progress, but it also creates new tensions and uncertainties. The existence of powerful artifacts like the Bands of Mourning, combined with the emergence of advanced civilizations beyond the basin, ensures that the balance of power will remain in flux. The novel concludes on a note of cautious optimism. While many questions remain unanswered, the characters have grown in ways that prepare them for the challenges ahead. Wax, in particular, has come to embrace his role as both a protector and a thinker, someone capable of navigating the complexities of a changing world. His journey reflects the broader themes of the story: the responsibility that comes with power, the importance of understanding the past, and the need to adapt in the face of uncertainty. Ultimately, the Bands of Mourning serves as both a continuation and an expansion of the series, deepening its characters while broadening its scope. It highlights the interconnectedness of history, technology, and human ambition, setting the stage for future conflicts and discoveries. As Wax and his allies look toward what lies ahead, it is clear that their world is on the brink of even greater transformation, one that will require all their courage, insight, and resilience to navigate.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos.